live on Twitch. Alright, we're live on Twitch as well. And finally, we are live on the YouTubes. What's up, everybody? Hope you... I don't know why I just did that. No idea. I never really do stuff like that in real life, so I don't know why I'm doing it in front of a camera. What's up, everybody, though? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing great, guys. In this live stream, we're going to be researching the main event of this weekend's Fight Night card between Ketlen Vieira and Miesha Tate. So, if this is your first time watching one of these live streams, just know that this isn't a breakdown video, this isn't a prediction or anything like that. This is literally me researching this fight in a live environment with you guys, all doing it together, watching the fight footage together, and then trying to work out who is the better bet in this fight based on, you know, the odds, and working out which fighter carries the better risk to reward ratio. So if you're coming to this video after the fact, just know that there's no real structure to this video. There's no timestamps or anything like that, because this is a live stream and we're going to be, you know, figuring this fight out for ourselves as we go, and as we you know, work through the past performances of both Ketlen Vieira and Miesha Tate, which of course are going to give us the best clues as to how this fight is likely to play out this week. So let's dig into this one. So it's an interesting main event, this. And hey, what's up, Wayne? Good to see you, mate. So it's an interesting main event. What's up, Brandon Phillip? Good to see you, mate. I don't really have an opinion on Rob Font versus Jose Aldo yet, mate. We'll get into that closer to the time of that fight. Don't really have a lean either way at the moment, mate. I think it's kind of hard to predict Jose Aldo fights, because sometimes he shows up, looks incredible. Other times he doesn't really perform to his full potential. He's become really inconsistent at this stage in his career. But anyway, let's get into it. So, alright, where should we start? What is up, my turn? Alright, let's get it going. So, Ketlen Vieira, 30 years old, 5'8" with a 68-inch reach. Miesha Tate, 35 years old, 5'6" with a 66.5-inch reach. So, obviously, Vieira going to be a little bit taller and have a bit of a longer reach than Miesha Tate, but nothing major. I guess like the most significant risk factor on this, or not significant risk factor, but significant X factor on this one, is that Miesha Tate's 35 years old, which is pretty old for a bantamweight, to be fair. Ketlen Vieira is only 30 years old, so with that 5-year age difference, you would expect Ketlen Vieira to still be getting better, to still be improving, whereas Miesha Tate, 35 years old, I would expect Father Time to be, you know, not too kind to her, and I would expect her to be declining from fight to fight. Obviously, she did have the long layoff when she retired, went and got the job with one championship, went and had a baby. You know, 35 years old, Father Time, it's gotta come knocking, you know, if it hasn't already come knocking, which it kind of has, because Miesha Tate's definitely not the fighter she once was. Like I say, you got to be careful with betting Tate at this stage in her career, because, you know, on any given night she could just show up and look a shadow of herself. So if we take a look at where these girls are training at the moment, or while we fire up their Instagrams, actually just go back over the odds on this one. So Ketlen Vieira, currently the average at odds of around 1.87, which is minus 115 for an implied probability of 53%. And if we take a look at the odds on Tate, she's currently around an average of 1.95, which is minus 105 for an implied probability of 51%. So both these girls in that even money odds range. In the eyes of the bookies, this is pretty much a 50-50 fight. As you guys know, I absolutely love these fights in the even money odds range, because if you can just lean 60-40 one way or the other, you can often find a good position to put your money. And of course, we obviously perform really well on bets in the even money odds range, because we have a very nice looking profitability chart here over, you know, what is coming up to 2 years. This January, we're gonna have 2 years of results on, you know, fights where over the last 2 years we've basically bet every single fighter in an even money odds range, and to produce, you know, almost 30 years of 30 units of profit on every single fight in the even money odds range over the last 2 years, pretty fucking good. And hopefully we can keep it going this weekend, because there's obviously a good number of fights this weekend in that even money odds range. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 will do nicely. 5 will do nicely. 5 bets in that even money odds range. So, Ketlen Vieira, as far as I know, she trains at Nova União, which does make this an interesting fight, because historically Nova União fighters are almost impossible to take down. But I do know that Vieira did run into a little bit of trouble on the ground against Kunitskaya in her last fight, so it'll be worth taking a look at that. But generally speaking, Nova União fighters very, very difficult to take down, even harder to hold down. And there you see her with the head coach of Nova União, Andre Pederneiras. Very, very nice. Although there's no recent... Actually, this does look... Yeah, this looks like the Nova União gym. This thumbnail here does look like Nova União. And when was this? 9 weeks ago. Okay. Okay. So this looks like the same wall as this. You see that wall there? That was 6 weeks ago. This looks like the same wall. That was 4 weeks ago. So yeah, there's the same wall again. And there, yeah. So it looks like Ketlen Vieira is still training at Nova União, which could be bad news for Miesha Tate, because like I say, historically speaking, Nova União fighters almost impossible to take down and hold down. So as for Miesha Tate, where is she training at the moment? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at where she's training at. Not too much in the way of recent training information. There's lots of family pics. She looks like she's at the Performance Institute there. Oh, she's giving out picks and predictions. Very nice. Very cool. So yeah, not too sure where she's training. I know she was well, she does live and train in Vegas. At Extreme Couture is where she has trained for the majority of her career. Ah, there she is at Extreme Couture, actually, with Demetrius Johnson. But that was 13 weeks ago. Not a lot of pics of her at Extreme Couture since then. Anyway, guys, I've just got to go. I'll just be 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that, guys. We're back. Okay, so let's get into the fight footage. Let's go. Alright, anything on Twitch? Nothing on Twitch. Nothing. Oh, what's up, Patrick? Yeah, Patrick, mate, if you do like the YouTube live streams, I do these streams pretty much every day on Twitch, man. I don't do many of them on YouTube, just because the YouTube copyright algorithm is like crazy intense. Like, you can get flagged for all kinds of stuff. But there's the Twitch channel, man. I live stream on Twitch pretty much every day. Alright, let's go. Let's get into it. What's up, David, mate? Good to see you, dude. Alright, so... on the fight link. What, like click this? Oh, there we go. Cool. Cheers, Matern. Thanks, mate. Cheers, dude. Alright. So, I think what we should do is kick things off by taking a look at Miesha Tate, trying to figure out where she's at this stage in her career. It's kind of a tricky fight to research because obviously you've got this long break in between the Raquel Pennington and Marion Renault fight where, you know, she was inactive, she was retired, she was having a baby, working for ONE FC in like a corporate role, or like a brand ambassador role, I guess. So really, I think a big part of our assessment of this fight is going to be based on her performance against Marion Renault, which isn't necessarily a good thing because obviously, you know, Marion Renault, it was a retirement fight. She is like 40 years old and doesn't have the best takedown offense or ground game, which kind of made life very, very easy for Tate. But we'll take a look at this fight anyway. We'll see what we get. So sync this one up for me, guys. Sync it up. Sync up the first round of this fight for me. Sync it up, guys. Sync it up. And there's the ESPN Plus links as well. Alright, let's get it going. So on Fight Pass, this starts at 1 minute 58. So 1 minute 58 on Fight Pass. That's 1 minute 58. And let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's see what we got. Switch camera as well. Are looking alright, there we go. So one thing that I was quite surprised about watching this fight live, and I'm seeing it again here now, is how well Miesha Tate moves. Just what I've noticed over the last sort of 20 years of watching MMA is usually when a fighter has a baby and then they return after a long layoff after having a baby, they're usually like a lot slower and a lot flatter, like they lose a lot of their athletic performance and it takes them a while to get it back. Whereas I think in this fight, Miesha Tate looked to move just as good as she ever did. And so, you know, she's moving well here. What I'm really looking at here is the nature of Miesha Tate's takedown entries. Like, how does she get this fight to the ground? I know there was a lot of grappling in this fight, but how does Tate get the takedown? Because, like I say, from memory, Ketlen Vieira Very difficult to take down and very difficult to hold down. Although I do think she had pretty bad off night against Yana Kunitskaya. So Miesha takedown entry very, very high up against Marion Renault's hips there. And Renault was able to clear her legs and get her back over to the cage. So 2 minutes left to go. Matern's letting us know that Ketlen Vieira looked out of character against Yana, and she also missed weight. So what I'm seeing from Tate here is these takedown entries very, very high up above the hips of Renault. What I can tell you and what I know about Nova União fighters, you're not going to take someone down like Vieira above hip height. Usually you've got to get in deep on their legs in order to take them down, and here you can see Renault is pretty comfortable in this position. And because of that, Tate's obviously abandoned the takedown attempt. We saw some recklessness there from Tate as well. She's kind of just blitzing forward in straight lines to try and run through Vieira and drag her to the ground, but Renault gave up that takedown super easily. And now Tate giving Renault a lot of space to pop back up to her feet. Tate does a good job of passing guard, jumping into that half guard position now. What's up, Stones, dude? Alright guys, let's get into the next one, which is going to start at 8 minutes and 10 seconds on Fight Pass. So let's get round 2 going. So round 2 starts at 8 minutes and 10 seconds. That's 8 minutes and 10 seconds. Let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, not too impressed by Miesha Tate in that first round. Those takedown entries come way too high up above Renault's hips, and when she was working for a takedown in the clinch, there was really no physicality there. She looked very, very flat. We're also not seeing this weakness in Tate exposed too much in this fight, because Renault's not really throwing a very high volume of strikes, but we know that obviously Tate's boxing defense has been an issue for her throughout her entire career, and when Renault does let her hands go, she is landing clean and hard on Tate, but obviously she doesn't have the power in her hands to deter Tate from coming forward. Also doesn't have the volume. So that was a much better takedown entry there from Tate. Shot in real nice and deep on the legs of Renault. Very, very nice takedown entry. Tate's takedown entries were looking a little bit stiff, a little bit too high up and rigid, you know, in that first round. But that was a beautiful double leg entry from Tate. Shot in very deep on the legs of Renault there. And obviously, the deeper in on the legs you shoot, harder it is to stay standing. So good job there from Tate. So Renault not really making much of an effort to get back up to her feet here. Instead, she's trying to hit some kind of reversal off this Kimura. And obviously what she should be trying to do is create a little bit of space for herself off her back to get her back tight to that cage to start the wall walk. And Tate recognising that that's Renault's path back to the feet. Oh wow, Tate is actually giving Renault enough space to stand back up here. So we actually saw Tate do this in round one, which I don't like. Tate worked really hard for the takedown, only to then let Renault back up. Like, Renault didn't take the invitation there, she didn't pop back up, but Tate certainly gave her enough space to do so. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, Hiltz, man. I'm not too sure. I don't remember Vieira having a bad gas tank, mate. I know she had a bad performance against Yana, but aside from that, I don't recall Vieira having a bad gas tank. I could be wrong. She did have a real bad night against Kunitskaya, but aside from that, I don't think she's looked too bad. You know, we've seen Tate gas out against Pennington. So, both these girls possibly a little bit inconsistent. Yeah, defo my turn, mate. I feel like Vieira versus Eubanks and Vieira versus Kunitskaya is going to give us a really good read on this fight, because Eubanks is probably a better offensive wrestler than Tate at this stage in their careers. Certainly, you know, heavier from top position. So, will be interesting to see how Vieira dealt with the threat of Eubanks' grappling. And then interesting to see what went so wrong against Yana. I think she was a massive favourite in that Yana fight as well. I think she was like a 1.25 favourite or something. Anyway, let's get this next one going. This starts at 14 minutes and 22 seconds. That's 14 minutes and 22 seconds. 14 minutes 22 on Fight Pass. Let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So what I'm seeing from Tate in this second and third round is that she's doing a much better job of getting in on the legs of Renault. Tate still seems to lack a lot of physicality when working for these takedowns, but her technique is a lot more difficult to deal with than it was, you know, in the first round. I will say that. And obviously when she gets in the top position, she's very persistent. That's it, cool. Alright, let's go check out this Ketlen Vieira fight against Yana Kunitskaya. So I'll grab you guys the link. Sync this up for me. Grab you guys the ESPN Plus link as well. There you go. Alright, here we go guys. Let's set this next fight up. So I am very interested to see where Ketlen Vieira started to struggle in this fight, because, like I say, historically, we know Nova União fighters extremely difficult to take down and extremely difficult to hold down. If we go to UFC stats, let's take a look at the takedown defense stat for for Ketlen Vieira. So on Fight Pass, the Vieira versus Kunitskaya fight starts at 1 minute 41. No, sorry, 1 minute 44. And while you guys do that, I'm just gonna check out Ketlen Vieira's stats. Yeah, that's what I thought, man. Takedown defense 92%. Now I know she had. Well, actually, it's interesting. What is pretty cool about this fight is that we do have a good amount of footage on Vieira against strong offensive wrestlers. Obviously, Sarah McMahon. Kat Zingano was kind of shot by the time they fought, so interesting that it ended in a split decision. You know, you would have expected Vieira to do pretty well against Kunitskaya at this stage in Kunitskaya's career, although the fight was... Sorry, you would expect Vieira to do pretty well against Zingano at this stage in Zingano's career, but the fight was pretty early on in Vieira's UFC career. I mean, it was, you know, 3 years ago now. But we do have a good amount of footage on Vieira going up against, you know, difficult grapplers, so we should be able to get a pretty good read on this one. Is this fight at flyweight? I thought it was bantamweight. Hiltz is saying she has issues making 125. Yeah, it's a bantamweight. It is Hiltz. I know what you're saying. Like, she did miss weight against Kunitskaya, but just worth us mentioning that this fight is at bantamweight. All right. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this Kunitskaya versus Vieira fight. Obviously, takedown defensive 92%, pretty impressive when she's fought. I mean, even Ashley Evans-Smith is a grappler. Like, I know she doesn't shoot many takedowns, but she is a wrestler. So 92%, pretty impressive when you take into consideration the fact she's fought Sarah McMahon, Kat Zingano, Sahara Eubanks. All three of those girls, pretty good offensive wrestlers. And yeah, we'll see how this one goes. So sync this one up for me, guys. Starts at 1 minute 44. Let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Switch camera. There we go. Alright, so let's see what went wrong. I'm pretty sure we live bet Kunitskaya in this fight as well, although I'm not 100% sure. I think we did. I think it kind of rings a bell, but not 100% sure. Nice one, return, mate. So Vieira gets Kunitskaya to the ground off this body lock. Straight away tries to start passing in the mount, which is obviously difficult with the position of the cage. Kunitskaya does a good job of using the cage to pop back up to her feet. Vieira still keeping partial control of that body, off that body lock. But Kunitskaya does a good job of defending herself here. She's got that underhook on the right side. So we're seeing Kunitskaya give up some pretty weak takedowns here. Ketlen's dragged her to the ground easily and is passing over in the half guard. Now looking for mount. Kunitskaya partially giving her back up to prevent Vieira from being able to mount her, and uses that to recover half guard as she rolls back to her back. And again Vieira looking to push down on that right leg of Kunitskaya and take mount again, and because of that Kunitskaya starts to give her back up again, but she is mounted now. Vieira didn't fall for the same trick twice. But with Kunitskaya scrambling around on the bottom, Vieira chooses to go back to half guard to prevent Kunitskaya from being able to scramble back up to her feet. So this is cool. We're seeing some of Vieira's top game here, some of Vieira's offensive wrestling. You'd imagine that Vieira would want to keep this fight standing against Tate, with her, primarily being a striker, Tate being the grappler. But Vieira's showing in this first round that she can hold her own on the ground for sure. Again, you see Vieira trying to pass over in the mount, pushing down on the right leg of Kunitskaya to free her own left leg. There she goes again. Kunitskaya just looking super weak off her back. Hasn't really made much of an attempt to get back to her feet here. She's been too busy trying to prevent Vieira from being able to mount her. Alright, so sync up round 2 for me now. Sync up round 2, guys. Sync it up. Sync up round 2. Let's go, guys. Sync up round 2. Hey, what's up, Randy? Good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing good, man. Oh, this camera. What's up, Randy, dude? I've got 2 cameras now, so it's can be tricky to know where to look. Alright, sync up round 2 of Kunitskaya against Vieira. Sync it up. So this starts at 7 minutes 58. Sync it up, guys. 7 minutes 58. Let's go, guys. 7 minutes 58. And let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So good first round from Vieira. She looked heavy from top position. Looked good from top position. Although Kunitskaya was very, very easy to hold down. Kunitskaya didn't really make much of an effort to get back up to her feet. So we do know that Tate likes to wear on her opponents in this clinch position. She always has. And we're seeing Kunitskaya put Vieira's back against the cage here and start to chip away at her. Vieira looking for that outside trip off the body lock, but didn't fully commit to it, so Kunitskaya was able to take her down and get in the top position in a crazy scramble. So this is useful because obviously Tate is going to be looking to take Vieira down. So we need to see how Vieira looks off her back. Now Vieira is not in a very bad position here. She's pretty close to the cage, which she could use the wall walk. But instead, at the moment, she's trying to throw her legs up and fish for an armbar, which isn't what you want to see. She goes back to the closed guard now, but what you'd really like to see is she going back to that armbar. Look out, oh wow. So, big mistake there from Vieira. So, notice how Vieira turned her hips in and attacked with that armbar. She put herself in a much worse position now. When she was initially taken down, she wasn't in a bad position because her back was relatively tight to the cage. And, you know, she could have used that cage to wall walk. When she turned her hips and fished for the armbar, she rotated her entire body away from the cage so that her back was no longer anywhere near the cage. And now she's in no man's land in the middle of the octagon where she can't use the cage to wall walk anymore. So, real bad fight IQ from Vieira. She's had opportunities to start working back to her feet here, which you'd guess she would want to do, considering she's a striker. But instead of doing that, she's chosen to attack off her back with these armbars and triangles instead, which has just enabled Kunitskaya to rack up a lot of top control and chip away at her. Like, Kunitskaya is not doing a lot from top position, but obviously you know the way it goes in MMA. Usually the fighter on top is winning that position. What's up, Double Leg, mate? Hope you're doing good, dude. Double Leg is saying, just got a new phone, so I need to set up the Telegram alerts again. Missed a few sessions. Nice one, Double Leg, mate. Cheers, dude. I will grab you. Nice one, Double Leg, mate. I'll grab you a link now, dude. You probably know how to set up Telegram anyway, but if you don't, mate, there's a link there which will help you get set up on your new phone. Nice one, Double Leg, dude. Cheers, mate. Hopefully we can make some cash this weekend, man. Fingers crossed. Got those 5 got the 5 even money bets this week, although I did research Faris Ziam and Terence McKinney this week earlier on. Well, I finished researching the fight earlier on today. It's so hard to pick a side in that one just because there's like virtually no footage available on McKinney. So even though that will obviously be an even money bet, like flip a fucking coin on that one. But finally, Vieira attacking off her back has enabled her to scramble back up to her feet. She used that leg lock to create enough space for herself to pop back up to her feet, but then while still committing to submissions, she's allowed Kunitskaya to gain control of her back again. As you see Kunitskaya just chipping away at her with his knees from this body lock back control position. I mean, I just don't feel Vieira has shown a lot. Wow, you know, I don't see Vieira's shown that much urgency to work out of positions here. You know, like here, I mean, she hasn't pulled guard in the traditional sense, but she has flopped to her back, hunting a long shot submission. Like, she just flopped to her back there to attack this Kimura, which she's never going to get. And she's making life very, very easy for Kunitskaya here. Not good. Not good, not good. What's up, Fashion Cold Wars? Hope you're doing good, mate. What's up? What's up, Edward Kelly? Oh, which camera am I looking to? This one, right? What's up, Fashion Cold Wars, mate? What's up, Edward Kelly? What's up, guys? What's up, this person? What's up, what's up, what's up, man? What's up, everybody? Oh, yeah, nice one, guys. Yeah, where have I been? So, basically, just had kind of a crazy few weeks. So, I took a vacation like 2-3 weeks ago. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm streaming from a different room. So what basically happened was about 5 years ago, I bought a new house. So like it was like a brand new built house. Like we were the first people to live in it. And out the front, I can actually show you. I can actually show you the problem I've got. So. So this is, where are we? Okay, so this is my house. This isn't my actual house, but in the UK, this housing developer called Barratt, they build like the same sort of style houses across the whole of the UK. So my house looks like, my house looks like this, right? So my house looks like this, except the front bits here are much bigger. So these front bits, like they stick out of the front of the house a lot more. And this is one room, and then this is one room as well. And one of these rooms is the room that I stream from, like my office. So what happened was, like, Barratt, the people that developed our house, like contacted us like 2 weeks ago, and they basically said that they found a building defect on these houses, where basically these front parts were not attached to like the main structure of the house. So like over time they'll start to collapse, which means they've basically got to like take the front part of the house off and then rebuild it. So yeah, that's what they're doing at the moment, man. So like downstairs, where these like downstairs in the front 2 rooms of my house, it's just basically like holes in the front of the house now, and they're gonna be like, this part of the house, like the 2 front parts of the house, are gonna be rebuilt, which is gonna take like 2-3 weeks. So that's why I've had to move all my stuff up into another room to stream. So that's why I haven't really been putting out too much content lately. It's just been a chaotic few weeks, because when I went on vacation, like obviously when I'm away on vacation, there's still like loads of content I've got to produce for the website. So I kind of did it, you know, try to get ahead of schedule early. And now coming back, we've got this thing, you know, where there's construction work being done on the house, but it's all good, man. It'll be done pretty soon. 2-3 weeks they say it'll take to do, and we're already like 1 week down, so maybe by this time next week it'll pretty much be done, hopefully. So yeah, nice one for asking, guys. But yeah, just like some crazy life shit going on at the moment, man, but it's all good. House, front of the house will get rebuilt, and yeah, kind of lucky in a way, because if they hadn't have told us there was an issue with the front of the house, like we wouldn't have had any idea until we went to sell it. And in the UK, when you buy a new house, it's got a 10-year warranty. So anything like structural that's wrong with the house within the first 10 years, the developer's got to fix it for you. But after 10 years, it's not their problem. So if we lived here for 10 years and then tried to sell the house after 10 years, we would have been screwed, because the builder said that apparently it's like £20,000 worth of construction work to like rebuild the front of the house, which I think is like $27,000, which we would have to have paid. So got pretty lucky, man. Got pretty lucky. Edward Kelly is asking, what's finish percentage in her career? I'm not too sure, man. She feels like a bit of a decisionator. So how many fights has she had in the UFC? 1, 2. I don't really like to consider, you know, when you just kind of see, you know, fights like this on random, like low level MMA promotions. I don't like to really like consider those wins too much, because like look at this, Vivian Monstra, she knocked her out in 3 minutes, but then she was 0-0. Like, who the fuck knows, you know, who Vivian Monstra is? Like, they literally could have pulled someone out the crowd, right? Same with Layette Ferreira, Monique Bastos. So I wouldn't count any of these wins. So if we look at the UFC fights, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So she's had 7 fights in the UFC, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them have 5 of them have gone a distance. So I guess her finishing percentage is going to be what, 20%, 30%, something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, like finishing percentage like 20-25%, something like that. So not good, man. Not good. Not good. Not good. Alright. Let's get it going. Let's go. Let's get into the next one. Alright. Hey, what's up, Ace the Goat? This camera. I can never remember which camera is pointing at me. It's this one. Alright, cool. What's up, Ace the Goat, mate? Hope you're doing good. Alright, let's get this next round going. So we're on round 3 of Ketlen Vieira, Yana Kunitskaya. Let's get it going. Starts at 14 minutes 15 seconds. Let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So from what I'm seeing here, this should be a pretty good fight for Miesha Tate. Obviously, Ketlen Vieira has looked very, very weak off her back. Has demonstrated really bad fight IQ in this fight as well. And her striking hasn't looked too impressive either. She's looked quite sloppy, quite flat standing up. Although I do have a feeling that this was a real bad off night for Vieira, and that she's capable of much better performances than this. So it'll be interesting to see. You know, it will be interesting to see if she looks any better when we go and watch Vieira against Sahara Eubanks. She's hit a beautiful outside trip here off that body lock, straight in the half guard again, and we know Kunitskaya is very weak off her back. Straight away you see Vieira passing the mount briefly before retreating back the half guard, and it's one of those fights that, you know, realistically Vieira looked real good in round 1. Really good offensive wrestling, heavy top game. She's looking pretty good here as well. Hasn't really shown any signs of gassing out, to be fair, although it's difficult to say because she spends so much time in that second round on the bottom and then came out and got a quick takedown here. Be interesting to see if there are any signs of Vieira gassing out, but I think in this fight she spends most of this round in top position, then late on in the round gets reversed, and then Kunitskaya kind of hulks out late on in this round and inflicts big damage with ground and pound, right? She cuts Ketlen pretty bad with an elbow or something, I think. So at the moment though, Vieira looking good from top position. I'm very interested to see how Vieira looks against Sahara Eubanks. I think that's going to tell us a lot about Vieira's chances of beating Tate. At the moment, based on these 2 fights that we've watched, I think Tate is the obvious lean. But that could definitely change depending on how that Sahara Eubanks fight goes. And obviously, like a couple of the guys, like I think it was Hilty brought it up in the public chat room, brought up a really good point that, you know, Vieira never really been in a 5-round fight before. Tate has been in a lot of 5-round fights. This is going to be Vieira's first 5-round fight. Who knows how her gas tank will hold up, but from memory, Vieira's gas tank is pretty good. We're not really getting a good look at it here, but maybe we will in the Sahara Eubanks fight. So Vieira in on back control here. She's taking the back of Kunitskaya. 2 loose hooks in though. I remember watching this fight live. Like I say, we live bet Kunitskaya in this fight. And I remember being very frustrated with Kunitskaya in this third round, because you look at these hooks, very, very loose hooks. If Kunitskaya just committed to pivot into her left at any point in this round, she could have scrambled into top position very easily. Like, Vieira has nothing here, but Kunitskaya hesitated so much, and eventually she did pivot. I think it was to her left and ended up in top position, but she just took way too long to do it. Like, Vieira has nothing here. Like, these hooks are so loose. All Kunitskaya has to do is to explode to her right, and she's in top position. But she just hesitates in this position for too long. So we're seeing sketchy back control here from Vieira as well. So what's really interesting about this fight is we've seen moments of really solid MMA grappling from Vieira. But we've also seen real bad mistakes that she's made, which just illustrate that she's very green on the ground. She might find herself in trouble against someone like Miesha. Now 35 seconds left to go. The hook on that left side is a little bit tighter now. But you can see Kunitskaya just hesitating here, and now she's going to pivot to her right. We were calling this out like a minute ago. Now she's starting to turn to her right, and there she goes finally. She could have done this a minute ago. I'm very, very lucky to steal the round with some late ground and pound. Real bad fight IQ from both girls in this fight. Bad fight IQ from Kunitskaya to hesitate in the bad positions as long as she did. But also real casual grappling control at times from Vieira. So what we'll do next is take a look at Vieira against Sahara Eubanks. This is going to be a really important one for us to watch, because I want to see if she just had an off night, if she underperformed against Kunitskaya, or if your bad fight IQ is more of a problem for her. So sync this one up for me, guys. Sync it up. Let's go. Sync it up. Sync it up, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Alright, guys. Let's go. Sync this one up for me. This is Ketlen Vieira against Sahara Eubanks. Sync it up, guys. Let's go. So this starts at 1 minute 45. That's 1 minute 45. Sync it up, guys. 1 minute 45. Let's go, let's go. So sync it up, get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So very interested to see how Vieira looks here, because Eubanks, much better offensive wrestler than Kunitskaya. Now that's interesting. I always looked at Vieira as more of a striker, but she started the Yana Kunitskaya fight by driving Kunitskaya over to the cage and started working for a takedown, and she's done exactly the same thing against Sahara Eubanks, which you wouldn't expect against someone like Eubanks. But we do want to see Vieira exert a lot of energy here, because obviously we want to see her gas tank tested with this being a 5-round fight against Tate. Now obviously we've watched a decent amount of footage on both girls, so we can start to visualise how they match up from a stylistic point of view. It is kind of shocking to see a fighter like Ketlen Vieira, who's trained at Nova União for her entire career, look as weak as she does off her back. Usually, like I say, there are like a few exceptions to the rule, like fighters like Johnny Eduardo. But generally speaking, Nova União fighters extremely difficult to take down and hold down. Yeah, defo Silva, man. So Vieira trying to get in on the legs of Eubanks there was unsuccessful. So what we're also seeing from Vieira here is she's quite flat-footed. She's almost got like a Diaz style of boxing where she throws like long looping hooks. But she's not the best defensively either. And like I say, even though Tate's boxing defense was bad, she moved pretty well in that fight against Renault. Vieira does seem a little bit flat and a little bit sloppy. It is quite notable to me that Vieira stands quite flat-footed, because obviously we saw Tate shooting quite deep on the legs of Renault and hit those nicely timed inside and outside trips. I would love to see Eubanks start to shoot in on Vieira, because with how flat-footed she's standing, I know that she's defended 92% of takedowns in the UFC, but she also gave up some really cheap takedowns against Yana, so with how flat-footed she is, it might not be that hard to get her to the ground. And Silva bringing up a really good point that this was Vieira's first fight back after being brutally knocked out against Irene Aldana, so perhaps she was low on, or perhaps she's been low on confidence ever since the Aldana knockout, and that's why she's looking to grapple more. But she hits a nicely timed outside trip off a double leg there, straight into Eubanks' guard. No takedown attempts in round 1 from Eubanks, which is very interesting. So let's get into round 2. So round 2 starts at 7 minutes 53. Or 7 minutes 54. Let's get it going, guys. 7 minutes 54. 7 minutes 54. So let's get this going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And Alex Weatherhead just letting us know that Eubanks had a lot of personal issues going into this fight. She's since dropped back down to flyweight, right? She's bounced around between bantamweight and flyweight a lot, but after this fight, she's gone back down to flyweight. So yeah, at the moment, my lean is Tate. But obviously only seeing her fight one time in the last 5 years against a 40-year-old PE teacher that announced it was a retirement fight, it doesn't say a lot about Tate. But another nice outside trip there from Vieira. And Eubanks is giving up these takedowns super easily. Eubanks not really trying to defend these takedowns, just giving them up very cheaply. The problem is it's kind of difficult to assess Vieira's top game, because even though she's not giving Kunitskaya or Eubanks much space from top position, we're also not seeing Eubanks or Kunitskaya make any attempt to get back up to their feet. They're very, very accepting of being on the bottom. Like here, again, Eubanks isn't in a bad position. She's relatively tight to the cage, which she could use the wall walk, but instead she's just going to this closed guard position, not really making any effort to pop back up to her feet. Just super disappointing. We saw Kunitskaya very, very weak off her back as well. Yeah, it's kind of tough, this one, man. I will say this. I don't think Vieira's advantages standing are as big as I thought she was. As big as I thought they were. I did think Vieira was a much better striker than what she's shown us. But again, a big part of that might be a lack in confidence from the knockout that Irene Aldana. It will be worth watching that Aldana fight. See if she looked a lot more confident in that one before she got knocked out. We've seen a decent amount of Vieira striking in this fight. I honestly thought she was a much better striker than this. She's very flat-footed and her boxing's a little bit sloppy. Like, don't get me wrong. She's definitely going to have the advantage over Tate standing up. I just thought she was better than this. Can't wait to go back and watch that Irene Aldana fight now. See if she looked a lot sharper against Aldana and if her confidence has taken a big hit since that KO loss. Can't imagine her confidence would have... Oh God, her confidence will be much better, you know, after her last loss against Kunitskaya either, where she got absolutely hammered by vicious elbows, you know, in that final 20-30 seconds of the round against Kunitskaya and took a lot of damage. So sync up round 3 for me. Round 3 starts in 14 minutes and 8 seconds. That's 14 minutes and 8 seconds. What's up, double leg? Yeah, we live bet every event, mate. So I'm not sure if you realise, but I do live betting commentary for every fight. So haven't missed a UFC event. Mate, I don't even know the last time I missed watching a UFC event live. Probably like... It was probably like before this website existed. Probably like... It's a long time ago, put it that way. A very long time ago. So yeah, I do live betting commentary for every UFC event. So I do like alternate commentary from a live betting point of view, share my live betting tips during the stream. So yeah, watch every single event, man. Return thinks his fight is likely to end in a messy split decision. Silver's saying the boxing technique is so loose and wide open with counters, can see how a technical boxer can find openings. Yeah, definitely. Aldana found a big opening, right? Luckily for Vieira, Tate probably won't, man. Tate's got a bad case of pillow fists. Obviously not the most dangerous striker. You'd expect Vieira to have a pretty big advantage standing, but not as big as I thought she would have. So let's get into this third round. Let's get it going. Let's get into third round. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get round 3 going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. James Court is saying that Tate is 0-2 versus a judoka. Renault is 44 years old. Miesha can win a robbery decision but should be beaten by a... I think what James Court is trying to say is Tate has declined to the point where she's not going to be able to hang with someone like Vieira, 30 years old, in her prime. Obviously after a 5-year layoff, she's 35 years old now, which is old for a bantamweight, and she's obviously had a baby, and she's retired once before. So I think the way that I would look at this is Vieira's definitely got the skills to cause Tate big trouble, but I do think like the most important attribute a fighter can have is good fight IQ, and I feel that while Tate likely is on a steep decline because of all the X factors with her age, the fact she took 5 years off, the fact she's a mother, the fact that she's already retired. So is her heart really in MMA, right? Tate probably is second best to Vieira from like an athleticism point of view. But the most important attribute you can have is fight IQ. What I saw from Vieira against Kunitskaya was really, really, really bad fight IQ. Whereas I feel Tate is very smart, right? She's been a UFC champion before. She's been a Strikeforce champion before. God knows how many title fights she's been in. She's been in a lot of 5-round fights. For me, Vieira's grappling still looks really, really green. And I do think if Vieira comes into this fight with a grappling heavy game plan, she could get herself into a fair bit of trouble, because we've seen Vieira is very weak on the ground, very weak off her back. She's heavy from top position, but weak off her back. But what I am seeing from this performance is that Vieira's gas tank does look pretty good. Like, we're into the third round here. The fight's been contested at a decent pace. Like, she hasn't slowed down at all. So, I do think this is a tough one. I can't remember that Stones, dude. Don't think so, mate. Don't think so, dude. So yeah, here we've got here we've got a fight where Vieira probably is a little bit more skilled. Definitely has got youth on his side, definitely athleticism, but very, very poor decision making against Kunitskaya. Got her into trouble. I feel like Tate is a much smarter fighter, and that goes a long way, man. So it's tricky. But, Vieira's gas tank, I mean, we've seen her go the distance twice now against Kunitskaya and against Eubanks, and it seemed alright in both fights. Like, she didn't look gassed in either fight. Gas tank looked just fine to me. Yeah, this is an interesting fight. I can see it. I can see why both these girls are in that even money odds range, because it is tough to feel confident in either of them. But I am looking forward to going and checking out Vieira against Aldana, just to see if her striking looks any different, because it has looked a bit flat here against Eubanks and also against Kunitskaya. Turn saying the way Vieira stands upright, flat-footed, flaying her arms about. Has me thinking it would be very easy for Tate to shoot a takedown. Yeah, Tate's offensive wrestling in round 1 against Renault looked really stiff. But in that second and third round, she did a much better job of shooting in deep on the legs of Renault. And I agree with you, Matern, man, with how flat-footed Vieira stands. Like you see there, right? You see there, Eubanks almost hit that outside trip. She only didn't hit that outside trip because she didn't gain control of Vieira's body before she tried to hit the outside trip. Had she gained control of Vieira's body with a body lock first and then gone to that outside trip, it looked like she would have ended up on top there. And that's the exact kind of technique we know Miesha Tate likes to use. Like little mistakes like this, you know, rolling for a leg, can end up with you spending a lot of time on the bottom against Miesha Tate. And we saw that, you know, in the Yana Kunitskaya fight. You know, we saw some of Vieira's bad fight IQ creeping in there towards the end of that round. It didn't matter because it was too late in the round to have an impact on the scoring. But I do think there's some issues with Vieira's fight IQ for sure. Alex Weatherhead is saying that he thinks Vieira wins relatively easily. Tate has great fight IQ. Yeah, you're right, man. Edward Kelly is saying Miesha has been dropped at least 5 times in her career. It's true, dude. It is true. Also, something that we didn't, also something that we haven't mentioned is, like we saw this happen with Rory McDonald, right? Where, if I just switch over, if we look at Tate's record, the same thing happened to Miesha Tate that happened to Rory McDonald. So, if you guys remember, when he fought Robbie Lawler, he had his nose absolutely crushed, and then, you know, after the Rory McDonald Robbie Lawler fight, he was never the same again. He just couldn't take that he couldn't take a shot to the nose anymore, and you saw his confidence badly affected, his durability badly affected, to the point where Rory was never the same again. And we kind of saw the same thing happen to Miesha Tate. So when Miesha Tate, I can't remember what fight it was where she broke her nose, but there was a fight where Miesha Tate broke her nose and she was never the same again, to the point where she just couldn't take a shot to the nose anymore. So it make you wonder whether like that weakness is still there, where if, you know, Ketlen starts to get her boxing going and starts to inflict a decent amount of damage on Tate, Tate is going to be able to fight through that, or if she's going to fade mentally, because we didn't really see Renault land many clean hard shots, didn't really see Renault inflict that much damage on her, so it's kind of difficult to say. But I do think, you know, the damage that Tate suffered to her nose in the tail end of her career is a big part of why she retired. And I remember her talking about this on the Joe Rogan podcast, how much trouble her nose was giving her. That's something else to think about as well, because Ketlen Vieira, she is a big, strong, physically imposing bantamweight, right, that hits hard. So let's take a look at this Irene Aldana fight now. Let's take a look at it and see if her striking looked any better here than it did against Kunitskaya and Eubanks. So I'll grab you guys the link now. Sync this one up for me. Sync it up, guys. Sync it up. So get this one going. Sync it up. I'll grab you guys the ESPN Plus link now as well. Yeah, I gotta be honest with you though, I am struggling for a lean on this one. Like, I don't see too much point in digging, you know, further back in Tate's career, because I don't really think fights from 5 years ago are going to tell us a great deal. I do think we saw a bit of everything we needed to see in that fight against, against Marion Renault. Struggling for a lean on this one, man. Don't feel great about either girl. You know, I do think fight IQ is extremely important, which is why I guess I'm kind of leaning towards Tate. Vieira's made some really bad decisions on the ground against both Eubanks and Kunitskaya, which I think will get her into a lot more trouble against Tate, because Tate's a much better grappler than Kunitskaya in particular. And Eubanks just didn't look like she showed up and performed for that fight, but I don't feel great about either girl here. You know, I do feel like it is pretty likely that Tate is not going to be great at this stage in her career. 35 years old, she's had a baby, she's been in a lot of wars, she's taken a lot of damage. She's not the best defensively. Towards the end of her career, before she retired, she couldn't really take a shot as well as she did in the past. Vieira is a big, strong, physically imposing bantamweight, but her tendency to just flop to her back and give up weak takedowns and pull guard and all that shit, and then attack off her back instead of trying to work her way back up to her feet, that's like red flag city, especially against someone like Tate that will be looking to get into top position, kind of hold Vieira down and control her. So it's a tough one for me, this. Very tough. JB is saying that outside of the win over Eubanks, what makes us think Vieira has elite top 5 skills? Yeah, absolutely nothing, mate. Absolutely nothing, dude. Yeah, this is not me saying that I think Vieira is elite. This is me saying I don't think either girl is elite. And I'm kind of having trouble getting a strong read either way. Taz is saying JB isn't the question mark. She actually needs elite top 5 skills to be Tate. Yeah, that's basically how I feel, Taz. 100%, man. Turn is saying, I think I'm slightly leaning Tate, but I don't know how old she is. Yeah, I think what Mature means is don't know how Tate would look against someone that isn't 44 years old, right? Which is something that, something that. Who pointed that out? I think it was Alex Weatherhead. No, James Court. James Court was the one that pointed that out. Edward Kelly is saying Vieira has a knee problem and was coming off a year layoff against Aldana. I lean towards Tate, but not confident at all picking her. Yeah, I feel the same, man. I do feel the same. Do you know what, Taz? I would imagine the odds on the over are pretty bad, man. Let's take a look. Yeah, the odds on the over aren't great. So fight goes to a decision 1.67. I'm not sure about that just because of how passive Vieira's looked off her back. I'm really not sure about that at all, man. 25 minutes is a long time. Yeah, you know what? I do think this is going to be... I do think this is probably going to be the deciding factor, Silver. Like, that's what I'm seeing, man. Like, Vieira's fight IQ is really bad. Does it have an impact on this fight, or does she show up and make better decisions? But, 25 minutes. 25 minutes is a long time to, keep it together and not make mistakes, you know what I mean? It's a long time. If Tate's bad fight IQ creeps... not Tate's bad fight IQ. Vieira's bad fight IQ creeps in. It will get her into a lot of trouble here because Tate is a much smarter fighter. She understands the importance of position over submission. She understands the importance of winning rounds. Let's be real. For all of Tate's weaknesses, she has won a Strikeforce title. She has won a UFC title. It takes brains, fight IQ, strategy, game planning to get to that level. Whereas Vieira has shown us really bad fight IQ in these fights tonight. Alright, so let's get into this first round, or the only round, the Aldana versus Vieira fight. Starts at 1 minute 51. So let's get this next one going, guys. Sync it up, get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So what I'm going to do, guys, I don't feel like confident either way here. I'm really finding it difficult with this one, so I'm probably not going to be betting this one. I will put an even money pick out there, but this is likely to be one of those fights that gets the asterisk treatment. I just don't feel confident either way on this one. So what I'm going to do, as soon as this stream is done, I'm going to go and research the fight between Sean Brady and Michael Chiesa. So we'll stream that on Twitch. So if you want to watch my research, my live stream research session for Chiesa versus Brady, we'll do it straight after this one over on Twitch. I'll just take like a 5-minute break or something, and I'll be back and we'll get into it. So yeah, man, hopefully we'll be able to dig up a bet on that fight. I know a lot of people are high on a lot of people are very, very high on Sean Brady in this fight. So it will be interesting to see what the footage shows us. So yeah, I'll be heading on over to Twitch once this stream is done, and we'll get into Brady and Chiesa. Hopefully we can dig up a bet on that one. I'm feeling like the under might be the smartest bet on that fight. I feel like whenever Chiesa's involved, the under's never a bad bet, because obviously he is one of these guys that only really seems to have cardio for one round before the gas is very, very bad. But then I'm not sure if Brady's really got the killer instinct to make Chiesa pay if Chiesa does gas really bad like he usually does. So it's a tricky one, man. It is a tricky one. But yeah, this fight between Aldana and Vieira was obviously pre-brutal knockout against Aldana. And what I can say is Vieira does look a lot more confident here. She is moving a lot better. It is possible that she's one of these fighters that has been badly affected by that KO, because here she's moving well. She looks a lot more confident. Yeah, boxing looks a lot better here. She's much sharper, even much lighter on her feet as well. But I will say this, man, my lean here probably is Tate, just because I feel a massive factor in this fight is Tate's ability to just understand the importance of position over submission, whereas Vieira wastes so much time hunting for long shot submissions off her back that, you know, in a fight which is likely to include a lot of grappling, because, you know, what have we seen from Vieira in her last two fights? She's come out straight out the gate looking to take Eubanks and Kunitskaya down, right? If we assume she's likely to do the same thing against Tate, you know, and Vieira initiates the grappling exchanges, with how green Vieira is on the ground, you'd bet on Tate to get the edge in the grappling. But having said that, Vieira's striking looks pretty good here. A lot better than it did against Eubanks and Kunitskaya. Head movement's better. She's doing a much better job of reading Aldana. She's light on her feet. You know, she's throwing nice combinations. And we know Tate has got very, very bad boxing defense. So if this is the version of Vieira we get, I think Tate is in a lot of trouble. If Vieira uses her grappling in reverse to keep the fight standing and just chips away at Tate like she is with Aldana here, and just picks her apart. It's a great fight for Vieira. But it's difficult to know what version of Vieira we're going to get. If the version of Vieira the foot Aldana shows up, Vieira is likely to cause Tate big problems. If the version of Vieira the foot Kunitskaya shows up, you know, Vieira is probably in big trouble. And that's probably why it is appropriate that both these girls are in the even money odds range. Probabilities 50-50 on both girls. It probably makes sense, man, because I'm having a real tough time, like, leaning 60-40 either way here. This is one of those fights where I can't call it. It is very difficult to get a read on this one. So before we wrap this one up, guys, let me know what you think, and then I'll head straight on over to Twitch, and we'll get into the Michael Chiesa, Sean Brady fight. But yeah, this one's a tricky one, man. Not sure about this fight. AX Gibson, what's up, dude? AX Gibson is saying, oh, wrong camera. What the fuck am I doing, man? It's this one. What's up, AX Gibson, mate? AX Gibson is saying, if Vieira had a good left high kick, I'd be worried she doesn't. Tate will finish her on the ground. Interesting. Yeah, don't feel confident either way here, man. Don't feel confident either way. I think that yeah, that's a bad knockout as well, man. You could understand why Vieira may have lost a bit of confidence after that knockout. It was a real bad one. Very, very bad. Rehabilitation could have been brutal after that one. Solar Cowboys bet Tate earlier this week. Silver saying could see Tate grappling and controlling, but could also see Vieira implementing a sprawl and brawl game plan. Yeah, defo, mate. Matern saying the current trend seems to be that Vieira is low on confidence, wants to grapple, but possible she gets her confidence back. Yeah, that's what I'm struggling with, Matern, man. I think, like, you're only as good as your last fight. You've got to use the most recent fight as the best indicator for what we're going to get. And, you know, the Kunitskaya fight, I mean, if she shows up and performs like she did against Kunitskaya, I think she's in a lot of trouble. But it's tough to say, because she will have a big advantage over Tate standing. And she will be difficult to take down if she actively avoids going to the ground, which I don't trust her to do so. So anyway, nice one for watching this, guys. I'm going to head over to Twitch now, so if you want to watch the live stream for Chiesa and Brady, don't go anywhere. I'll research that fight right now. But if not, take care everyone, and I'll see you guys really soon. Nice one, everybody. Hopefully you all make some money this weekend. Hopefully you can all make some cash. Obviously, football is back tomorrow. So if you're a member of my website, I'll be live betting the football tomorrow. We've got some decent games tomorrow. Actually, we've got Monaco against Lille in the French Premier League, which will be a real good game tomorrow night. Although a lot of key players for Lille have put big shifts in on international duty. Don't get me wrong, Monaco have got a fair few players who have been out on international duty as well, but some really key players for Lille will have played a key role in the World Cup qualifiers for Lille, so they could be pretty badly weakened by some tired players. But we'll take a look at it, see how it goes. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Hope to see you in the Brady versus Chiesa live stream. If not, we'll be live betting the football tomorrow night on my website in a VIP chat room. Take care, everybody. Nice one, guys.